Hi, my name is Erin. I use she, her pronouns, and I am this.
Stirring the coffee with the KaBAR tactical chopsticks using the vortex method, the only true way to optimize the taste of your coffee. At the molecular level. Good morning. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. We'll get started, but first, coffee. This is a large Americano with 4 shots of espresso and some cream. I'm doing the Daybreak Show on the road. I am at Whole Foods today, so we'll see. One person already walked by me and said, "Oh, you're that guy." That's always funny when people recognize me like that. I'm that guy. So, cheers. Nice. Actually, one of the best Americanos that I've ever had in my whole life. So let's get started today. It's kind of interesting how married couples work, especially in like what I would call like sexless marriages. You know, I had a fella once tell me that he hasn't had sex with his wife in 3 to 5 years. I forget what the number was, and that he was sleeping in the guest room. And then my reply wasn't a sympathetic reply. My reply was, well, that doesn't mean that she's not having sex. He just reported he's not having sex with her. He didn't like that, the look on his face. It was amazing. So let's talk about marriages where there's no intimacy. If your wife does not initiate intimacy and is more comfortable around you when you don't initiate, if you are invisible to your wife, your girlfriend, the woman in your life, if she forgets that she has a husband or a boyfriend, just know that if you've gone without intimacy for 3 months, she can go 6 months. She can go 6 years. She can go a long time. I know in my experience with dating women that, especially divorced women, there's this number that always gets me all the time. And they say something like, oh, I didn't have sex for 6 years. Or I was sleeping in the guest room for 6 years before we finally split up. I will tell you, especially my Christian brothers, remember, a godly wife is a desirous wife. And that comes from Genesis 3:1, where God says to the woman, you will desire your husband and he will rule over you. He's the head of the house. He's the one that sets the example. God's will for you, sir, is not to be tolerated as a husband or as a boyfriend, but to be a desired husband. Ask yourself this question. Are you desired or are you tolerated? It's a hard question. Don't answer it right now. Think about this. And refuse to settle for scraps. If you need to get out of a situation, contact me. You know how to reach me. Because it can cost you a lot of money, but it can cost you a lot of emotional and cognitive capital being in an intimacy-less marriage. And I think it's important that if this goes on for a period of time, after you've had the talks, after you've had the fights, you need to silently plan and swiftly execute. Save the man, not the marriage. I like to say, date long, marry slow, but divorce fast. The damage, the trauma, the chaos, the turmoil that men go through when they're going through a divorce is not so much the loss of the wife, but the loss of access to children and their family. And many times men are removed. They end up moving to a bachelor pad, a one-room apartment, or sharing a house or apartment with somebody. A man's level of comfort and standard of living usually goes down while the woman's remains the same. If you've been to court, you've seen that, where the courts really fight really hard to help the wife maintain her standard of living. While you are buying food at the dollar store, buying dented cans, eating ramen noodles and Kraft macaroni and cheese, and you're still paying for her when she was the one who chose to get out of the marriage. Doesn't happen to everybody, but the majority, it happens to the majority of men. It's never a level playing field. So date long, marry slow, and if you're going to get divorced, do it fast. Super important. Like I said, the trauma that men experience comes from the divorce process, not so much the loss of the wife. It's the process that breaks a man down. Here's a little fact, fun fact. You've heard the phrase shotgun house. Living in a shotgun house, also known as a shotgun shack. It's a home where the layout is one room after another. They're narrow, long homes. And it's believed to attract spirits, so the doors are intentionally misaligned. It's not like there's a hallway down one side and all the rooms are off the hallway. It's door, 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 door. And so the ghosts couldn't go straight through the house. Elvis Presley, born in a shotgun shack. Aaron Neville, born in a shotgun shack. David Byrne, the leader of the Talking Heads, in the song called Once in a Lifetime, you know this. His first words of that song are, "You may find yourself living in a shotgun shack."
You may find yourself living in a shotgun shack.
Now it's a popular simple living style for retirees and even young people who are shunning materialism. In New Orleans, think about this. In 1902, you could rent a shotgun shack for $1.03 a week. Let's hear it for shotgun shacks. Let's talk about the bro code. You know what the bro code is? I gave you a little pop quiz yesterday on this one. It's kind of unspoken. It's like the Fight Club. You never talk about the bro code. It's, rule number 1. You don't talk about Fight Club. You don't talk about the bro code. But I will explain it once to you. The bro code is this. You never pursue another man's ex-wife or ex-girlfriend or any of his love interests. It's one of those things. Now, how many times have you seen men go after somebody's ex-girlfriend, ex-wife? It's ridiculous. You've heard Rollo talk about she will take somebody to your funeral. I've seen a situation like that here where a police officer was killed. And who accompanied her to his funeral? His partner, his patrol partner. And guess what? 9 months later, a child was born. Crazy, right? So, careful who you expose your girlfriend and wives to. I've seen this happen way too many times. After working with men for 4 decades, I've seen this happen more times than I can count. So, that's the bro code. Have a little respect. There's 4 billion women in the world, and you're worried about one. You're pursuing your friend's girlfriend or your friend's wife. Absolutely ridiculous. That's low-hanging fruit. And stop trying to rescue women. God called you to lead, not to rescue. Make a wish, baby, and I will make it come true. Make a list, baby, of the things I'll do for you. Ain't no risk now in letting my love rain down on you, so we could wash away the past, so that we may start anew. The band Ambrosia from 1980. Great song, right? You know that song? One of my favorite bands from the 70s. Sentimentalism. Sentimentalism is a trap, and emotions are your enemy. Rather than missing someone, something, or some experience, let me show you how to frame it. Be thankful for the time it or they were in your life. Sentimentalism is like the sandbags on a hot air balloon. What do they do with the hot air balloons to make them take off? They release the sandbags that hold it down. That's exactly what sentimentalism is doing for you. You say you love your girlfriend or your wife or your ex-wife. I would contend that it's not love. You're just going through withdrawal and you're playing the loop in your head. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is the loop that you constantly loop in your head. You're telling yourself the story of your pain. You're telling yourself the story over and over and over and perpetuating the pain. Remember, you don't miss the software and the operating system. You miss the hardware. You miss the image of her, the videos and the Polaroids that are in your head. Now, the sandbags on the balloon, they serve a purpose. But in order for that hot air balloon to rise, the sandbags need to go. Sentimentalism is a warm and fuzzy feeling. It feels good, but it's a trap, and you need to move on. For those of you that got the jab, I don't condemn you. I have some opinions about that, and I've been speaking them freely for a long time. But if you got it and you regret it, this is what I want you to do. I want you to research the McCullough protocol. Do your homework. It's a way of naturally remediating the effects of the jab, which is autoimmune diseases, various metabolic issues, cancers, myocarditis. 25-year-olds dropping dead in the soccer field just don't happen. All right, we never saw anything like we're seeing it now. I would like you to connect the dots, get rid of your cynicism and your hate about the whole thing, admit that you got duped, but you can do something about it. That is the McCullough protocol. Something I want you to look up. I'm not going to talk about it here. It would take too long, and I'm not a scientist in that way. But everyone's like, well, you got to believe the science. Okay, you want to believe the science? You keep doing it. I am happy to announce that I'm going to be a freelance journalist for RT News. Freedom over censorship, truth over official narrative. It's not American Western media. It's unbiased media. I used to hate Al Jazeera media. Hated it. Only why? Why do you think that was? Because it was run out of a Islamic country. That doesn't mean it's an Islamic publication, although because they are, Al Jazeera mainly reports on those issues. They also report on world issues. Same thing with RT News. So I've been just accepted as a freelance journalist for RT. Pretty happy about that. I'm going to see if I get to choose my assignments, and it's like a little part-time thing, freelance. Maybe 1 or 2 stories a month, that kind of thing. But as a writer and a speaker, this is a great outlet for me, and something else to add to my resume, something substantial. So that's kind of nice. I used to write columns for newspapers in the area, and now this is like a truly international publication, and I really think I'm going to find an audience there. So look for me there. If you are divorced 1 or 2 or 3 times, I'm not the guy that's going to call you a 2 or 3-time loser. A lot of guys will call themselves that, like I'm a 2-time loser, that kind of thing. I don't do that. But if you keep getting legally married with the marriage certificate down from the courthouse or city hall, I might start calling you that. So the lessons that you learn, consider that tuition paid to learn truths. Just because you love a woman, just because she loves you, does not mean that you have to get legally married. Wait until the oxytocin and the dopamine wears off, because man, they are one hell of a drug, aren't they? You will only have clarity, listen close, you will only have clarity when the chemical romance wears off.
What is that?
Are you connecting?
Think about my comment section here. It always contains a number of men, different types of men. Number 1, what men are afraid of. 2, what men are angry about. If you read the comment section, actually, it was kind of like funny. My mother, who watches my podcast, says that, like, she'll listen to the podcast, but the real entertainment is usually in the comment section of podcasts. So that's always kind of interesting. What men are afraid of, what men are angry about, what men are confused about, what men wish they had done or didn't do, what men think is unfair, and what men secretly want. You know what I have here? A giant focus group. That's what this channel and podcast is, a giant focus group. It's an empirical study over a long period of time. It's been 10 years now that this has been going on here. And if you've been following me for 10 years, excellent, congratulations. If you're new to this podcast, then you understand the cycles that we've gone through. And I end up covering a lot of the same material about every 2 years. So I'm actually in the midst of my 5th cycle. because it takes about 2 years to teach things. And some people stick around the whole time. Some people stick around for a year or two. But some people say, well, just like move on. I don't want to move on because there's new people all the time. All the time. I don't just make videos and coach men. I am leading a group of men through some of the hardest transitions of their lives: divorce, aging, loneliness, and how to reinvent themselves. So I feel like I'm on a mission from God, and I'm married to the mission. Some people say, do you have a wife? I go, well, kind of. I'm married to my mission. Let's talk about the topic of selection versus attraction. Let me take a sip of my Americano first. I'm going to be flying high real soon. This is 4 shots of espresso in here. Attraction gets you the girl, but how you select determines the quality of your life. So let me ask you this question. How is your picker? That part of your brain that when you have an option of 5 different women, what is it in your brain that makes you pick this one and not this one and not this one? That's your picker. Someone said that to me 25 years ago. I asked a woman once why she was married 3 times. She goes, my picker doesn't work very well. And I never heard that phrase before. So I've kind of like dug into that, and I see more and more people using that. Compatibility and cooperation and loyalty are the right 3. Not looks, not sex, not shared hobbies. Those are nice, but they don't determine whether a woman is peaceful to live with for 20, 30, or 40 years. You know what it is? Compatibility. Do you like the same kind of life, the same kind of pace, cleanliness, social life, money habits, how much time together versus time apart? Cooperation is when there's a problem, does she work with you or against you? And then loyalty. Does she protect your name when you're not in the room? Does she stand next to you when things are bad, not just when things are fun? Because, you know, girls just want to have fun. How somebody fights, how you resolve conflict is more important than how they love. That's the easy part. How people fight and resolve conflict is more important than how they love. But you're just focused on love, which in the beginning could be up to 2 years, is a chemical romance. Realize that. That's why I said don't make any decisions about anybody until the chemical romance wears off. Anyone can be wonderful when everything is going well. Am I right? So if you're tired of the revolving door, then the frame in your own mind has to shift from girlfriend to life partner, longtime companion, wifey. That means you start quietly evaluating a few things. Is she peaceful? Because a man settles, or should settle, where he has peace. Is she cooperative? Does she make your life easier or harder? You've heard it said that she should be making your dick hard, not your life hard. Do you feel more focused with her in your life or more distracted? Are you always putting out little conflict fires everywhere? Can you trust her with your reputation, your money, your health, your time, and your future when you are not present, when you're not in the room? Does she always work in your favor? And here's the big one that very few men ask. Can this woman sit in a room with me and do nothing? And it still feels good. You always have to be entertaining her. You always have to be going out for dinner. Can you just make dinner at home? Can you just have leftovers? Okay? Because most of life is not vacations, fun nights out, sex, restaurants. Most of life is just merely coffee in the morning, running errands, paying bills, dealing with family problems, children or aging parents, health stuff, sitting on the couch, watching TV, catching a movie on Netflix, long drives. That's why I always say one of the best things you can do in a relationship early on is to travel together, whether it be day trips or a weekend trip. Not a full-blown vacation or a cruise. That's like all the fun stuff. But can you travel well together? That right there is absolute gold. How well do you travel together? Now, of course, in the beginning, everything's going to be dandy, right? The chemical romance. is you're operating on the fumes of a chemical romance. Life is about dealing with boring adult responsibilities, and only there is where real compatibility shows up. If she brings peace, cooperation, and loyalty, very important, peace, cooperation, and loyalty, and you bring to the table leadership, stability, and consistency, that's a very strong formula for a long-term relationship or a marriage or a lifetime companion without needing the government involved. That's two adults that are choosing each other and not a legal arrangement that's trapping each other. A piece of paper and a wedding band does not make a guarantee for a happy marriage. Sir, you need peace. You need peace. You need respect. It's better to hear her say, I respect you and I appreciate you, than to say, I love you. I ask the question all the time, is it better to understand a woman or to love a woman? The old style mentality of men is, oh, you have to love her. Wrong. Only until you understand her can you truly love her the way that she needs to be loved, because not everybody is the same. Some women like the gifts. Some women like flowers. Some women like vacations. Some women just want to have a peaceful time reading a book, their latest novel, or watching a favorite TV show, that kind of thing. So it's not one size fits all. You need someone who's happy to see you, not trying to manage you, fix you, or spend your money. And there will be no fixing. There will be no fixing. God called you to lead, not to rescue. One of the worst phrases that is usually the death of a man is, I can fix her. You see a woman with troubles and you think, I can fix her. I can help her with her drug problem. I can help her with her alcoholism. I can help her with her overeating. I can help her lose weight. There will be no fixing. Forget about it. For a lot of men, you know what a nice life is? A nice, clean house or apartment, a good bed, comfortable bed, a well-made cup of coffee in the morning. Like I just discovered Whole Foods Americanos. Absolutely love them. I actually like it better than Starbucks. It's a superior cup of coffee. Good cup of coffee in the morning, a few good loyal friends, meaningful work, significant work, a strong body, some money in the bank, and a woman who comes over or you go to see her, she smiles when she sees you. She brings peace instead of problems. And that, for many men, is a very nice life. Here's an Irish drinking toast. Usually when I go out to dinner with a group of people, I'm the guy that stands up and holds up the glass and gives a toast. And I love this one. Here's to cheating, stealing, fighting, and drinking. If you cheat, may you cheat death. If you steal, may you steal a woman's heart. If you fight, may you fight for a brother. And if you drink, may you drink with me. And then everybody raises their glass. Learn how to give a toast in a group. It makes you stand out amongst everyone else. And I would say every well-cultured gentleman always has a bunch of toasts ready to go. So learn some toasts. Let's talk about LAT relationships, L-A-T, which stands for living apart together. This is when a committed couple keeps their own separate homes or apartments, but stays emotionally and romantically involved. They date, they spend nights together, they travel, they build something real, but they don't merge their households. They don't split the mortgage or deal with each other's daily messes and routines. This is it's not for everybody. It's for some people. I kind of like it. I'm leaning towards that. I'm not 100% sold on it, but listen to some of the bullet points of this. After you've been through everything with the breakups and divorce and loss, this kind of setup, a LAT relationship living apart together, makes a lot of sense for men who are rebuilding their lives. You get the companionship and the intimacy without handing over half your space, your peace, or your freedom. This does not mean you have a whole, what do they call it, like a rotation of women. We don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm not like a rotation guy. To me, one woman is enough. I don't need a harem. Maybe that might be for the younger guys, but it's just too much. It's too much. There's no blending of finances. There's no walking on eggshells in your home. There's no potential disasters. You maintain your own sanctuary, your own schedule, your own damn life, while still having someone that matters to you in your life. It's not casual dating. It's intentional. You choose each other, but you don't chain yourselves under one roof where resentment can build over a period of time, and you're fighting over whose turn it is to load the dishwasher or why the toilet seat is up. Many men that I work with as a coach got burned in marriage talking about how they, like the simplest things, created conflict. And of course, like I said a little bit earlier, how you fight and how you resolve conflict is one of the most important determiners of success. So with lat relationships, there's a connection without the cohabitation trap that can slowly kill attraction and respect. One of the things I do when I work with men is I ask them this question, and they all got an answer for this. I'll say something like, when did she lose respect for you? And that man always looks off in the distance, and he knows the exact day and time that it happened. That sticks with a man when he feels that she lost respect for him. Women in lat relationships and setups often stay more peaceful and feminine because they're not carrying the full emotional load of merging lives 24/7. And for us guys, we protect our recovery. We fought hard to get our strength and clarity back. Clarity. So why risk handing over the keys to your hard-earned peace? It's not for everybody. I'll be the first to admit that. But some guys still want that traditional merged life, but you've been through the grinder of divorce or a brutal breakup. Lat can be a smarter path forward. Real commitment, real intimacy can be very satisfying without repeating the mistakes that cost you so much in relationships. Again, consider it tuition paid. Everyone has made mistakes. You've made mistakes. You have regrets, but just don't repeat them. You do you. I hate that phrase, but I'll say it. You do you. Protect your peace first, because that's the foundation of any relationship having after you've experienced a loss, a breakup, or a divorce. Let me talk to the older guys for a second. Now, older is a very, very subjective term. It could be a guy over 30, a guy over 40, a guy my age, 66 years old. Could be the widower, the divorced man, the guy who was traditionally wired to pair bond, commit, and build a life with a woman. That's how I was raised. You find a woman, you get married, you live happily ever after. You know what they say, 2.3 kids, the white picket fence, go to work every day, 9 to 5, that kind of thing. Those days are over with. They're not happening anymore. So I want you to consider that there's other options beside jumping right back into marriage, because that's what you've always done, or what you were taught as a boy. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't have to go from heartbreak to engagement. You don't have to go from loneliness to a live-in situation. There is a middle ground that many men have never even considered. So I want you to think about this. There's a few different options for you. First one is called relationship fasting. You've heard me talk about that. I came up with that concept probably about 7 years ago. It's time where you are not in a relationship on purpose. And if you are in a relationship, you give each other space and time. Khalil Gibran, in the book The Prophet, in his chapter on marriage, says, let there be spaces in your togetherness. I have followers here who are dating somebody for a number of years, and they see each other 2 days a week. And it works for them, 2 days a week. Sometimes you can get on each other's nerves, especially if you're an adult, especially if you're someone who's wired for cohabitation, wired for marriage, wired for traditional relationships. You are purposely seeking time and space, maybe the table for one lifestyle, which is a phrase that I coined and a practice that I have perfected over the past 20 years. You're taking time for yourself, not because you can't find someone, but because you are rebuilding your body, your money, your habits, your friendships, your routines, and most importantly, your peace. You are learning how to live alone. Listen to me. You are learning how to live alone without being lonely, something that most men cannot do. Most men have never done this. They go from their mother's house to a girlfriend, to a wife, to a girlfriend, to a second wife, and they actually never stood on their own 2 feet to build a life that is fully theirs. Another option to consider would be open-ended relationships. Not everything has to be on a marriage track. Not every good woman that you meet has to be interviewed for the position of wife. Some people are wonderful companions, great travel partners, great dinner partners, social partners, weekend partners, but not necessarily lifetime legal partners. And that's okay if both people understand that from day one. And that's got to be hashed out early on in any kind of relationship. There's another type of relationship, which is a contractual relationship, especially later in life. As you get older, I would say over 40, think about this. There's clear expectations, clear finances, clear living arrangements, clear exit plans. So it doesn't sound romantic, does it? It just shatters your romantic fantasy. Like I said, I want you to be a purveyor of reality rather than an investor in fantasy. But you know what's not romantic? Divorce court, alimony, losing half your retirement, starting over at 55 years old. Adults make adult agreements, not based on emotions or the chemical romance. Businesses have contracts, athletes have contracts, actors have contracts, but when it comes to the biggest financial and emotional decision of your life, people say, well, let's just let the state handle it. That is the pure definition of insanity. Have things up front right from the start. Now, if you've been living the freelance relationship life and then try to impose contractual stuff, it's a problem. So this is only for guys who are starting a relationship or looking for a relationship. If you are at a stage in your life where you are not trying to run up a notch count, you don't want a harem, you don't want to rotate women, you're not trying to make babies, you are not looking to stand in front of a state and take an oath of marriage and vows and all that stuff, there's still ways to have a companionship, intimacy, loyalty, and a shared life without putting your neck back in the same noose again that almost killed you the first or second time around. You don't need a mommy. You don't need a maid. You need peace. You need respect. You need someone who is happy to see you, not someone who is trying to manage you, fix you, or spend your money, like I said. And as I said before, a nice life for most men is a good bed, clean house, a nice cup of coffee in the morning, a few good friends, meaningful work, a strong body, a little bit of money in the bank, a woman who comes over and smiles at you rather than giving you the look every time you do something wrong. For many men, that's a very nice life. And finally, I'll say this. You already know the truth that no one is coming to save you. I've said it to you 10 million times. You hear it everywhere on podcasts, in books, on TV, everywhere, conferences. No one is coming to save you. Very popular theme amongst men. You've lived it. You felt it in your bones when you went through divorce or breakup, the loss, the betrayal. You finally got it. You stand alone. So why the hell are you trying to save a woman? No one's coming to save you, but why are you trying to save a woman? God called you to lead, not to rescue, not to save anyone. God didn't call you to be anyone's savior. He called you to lead, and there's a massive difference. If you want to rescue something, rescue kittens and puppies. Rescue the truly broken who can't help themselves. But trying to rescue a grown woman is pure insanity. They don't need saving. They need a leader. And right now, too many men are confusing the two things. I see it every day in my work with men coming out of divorce and loss. Good men emptying their bank accounts, their time, their souls, trying to fix her problems, heal her trauma, or shield her from the consequences of her own choices. You end up playing the hero, Captain Save-A-Ho, the white knight coming in on the white horse to rescue her, the damsel in distress. And what do you get in exchange for that? Disrespect, drama, another kick in the teeth. She doesn't follow a rescuer. She uses rescuers, but she'll never, ever respect you. Leadership is different. Leadership has a spine. It has boundaries. It has rules. But you're not being a stone cold prick about it either. Leadership says, this is the direction that we are going in. Walk with me or walk away. Leadership doesn't negotiate with emotional chaos. It doesn't drain itself dry, hoping that she'll finally come around and start appreciating you. The Bible is very clear that men are to lead their households, love their wives as their own bodies, and stand firm, and not chase every broken woman and play emotional support animal. Christ didn't run after people committed to their own destruction. He led those that were willing to follow. So if you're a man, stop listening to these decomposing female mummies on YouTube or Instagram. Just stop it. The bitchy persona is pure cancer. It only works on little boys, simps, and weak-minded dudes who still crave mommy's approval. Real men don't need some chick wagging their finger at them, lecturing you about her feelings or your feelings disguised as advice, while her life is usually a revolving door of bad decisions. They're all over social media. They will fuck you over just like they did their husbands, the baby daddy, and the last 5 guys, because patterns never lie. That's why I encourage you to be a pattern recognition expert. Women frame everything through their emotions, and so do insecure beta male weak men. They frame everything through their emotions and sentimentality, insecurities, and what only benefits them. Everyone's in it for themselves. Am I right? You're in it for yourself. She's in it for herself. Hopefully you can meet in the middle somewhere. Now, it's not wisdom when you are listening to these women. It's manipulation dressed up as empowerment or healing. Gentlemen, stop mainlining that stuff. It's absolute nonsense. It's going to keep you soft and confused forever. So delete, mute, unsubscribe, go lift, build your money, build your muscles, sharpen your mind, and learn from men who actually live in reality, not women performing for likes and orbiters looking for validation, pretending to be a motivational speaker. Once a garden tool, always a garden tool. You live by your frame, your rules, no more boy training from female influencers, period. You've already learned the hard way that no one's coming to save you. Good. Now apply the same lessons across the board. Stop auditioning for the role as a white knight. Stop pouring your limited energy into fixing a woman who needs to face reality on her own. You're part of the problem every time you like, share, and subscribe. Think about that. Build your life, guard your peace, lead with strength and clarity. The right woman doesn't need rescuing. She'll want to follow a man who's already saved himself. Rescue mission is over, brother. It's time to lead. And with that, finish your coffee. And I'll see you on the next Daybreak show on the road. The only home of sanity, clarity, and reason.
I don't give a fuck. I can't tell you how little fucks I possibly give